at OEB there. It's just coming up. And one of the things I kept on telling the administrator is that file your things. Even when you buy salt.
File it.
Yes. Because one day I come back as auditor and I want to know how much it costs to establish that hospital. It's a 100-bed clinic or what, I don't know the terms, but I call it hospital. And once I know that, it helps me as a consultant or anybody know that in this dispensation, so it is very, very important. So information seeking is very important. Then we said the last of the classes of the developmental thing is systematic planning and monitoring. And I've said that already. You must break your plans into smaller ones that will fit into the larger overall plan. Otherwise, you will not know what you will have the global plan, but you may not know what you have to do in order to achieve that. So systematic planning is very, very important. And like I said, I know what I'll do tomorrow, next week, next month. Of course, there will be variance, plus or minus, but it's important for us to, as a business people, get this straight. Goal setting, information seeking, systematic planning, and monitoring. Now, today we continue by the other class called accomplishment or attainment. And the first thing on the list is that a business person must always seek information. So opportunity where people see chaos. And I will cite a classic example. You know, when the COVID came, other people used the opportunity to make money.
Indeed.
I met a lady in one of my training sessions and he said, look, I've made money more than in this COVID. I said, why? Did you kill somebody? He said, no. Then he started telling me the story. All that he did was that he was opportunity seeking. So instead of sitting down for, hey, the dollar is up, this thing is up, what can you do in order to make money in between that?
Life has not stopped.
Exactly.
Since the dollar went up.
Exactly.
Life did not stop when COVID came.
And Ghana is interesting. We complain more than we do. We do less and we complain instead of looking at it. So you do things before you be forced to.
Have you even realized that during the COVID, we're drinking more water?
Yes. Now we stop.
Is that not an opportunity?
Yeah,
I'm just looking at opportunity.
Yeah.
We're drinking more water, were we not? We're supposed to be eating more vegetables.
Yeah.
Is that not an opportunity in there?
It's opportunity.
So I mean, I think you're right.
And then people even started. Now they were mindful about their health all of a sudden. No, they say COVID is that kind of thing. And I always cite this example. There was a place where it's swampy in our area, and there's this guy. All of a sudden, look at the place, turn the place into the nursery, and the guy made thousands of Ghana cedis from it.
Wow.
When people were dumping, it was a waterlogged area. And these are the kind of things that
started putting up plants, different seedlings and all of that.
And then became a nursery where people would drive and park. And this is, those of you who know Ofori Secondary, that crossroad, that's where I'm referring to.
And a lot of people had passed through that same
place. It used to be waterlogged. Nobody, some wild animals used to be there. And this guy came, get seedlings and started, and with time, you see cars park. And that is what I'm talking about, opportunity seeking and initiative. When you even look for the opportunity, you must initiate. The crying of business people, especially in Ghana, is that we don't have money. But I kept on saying that when you have the plan, the money will come. The money is the last thing that's supposed to kick, the oil that's supposed to keep the process. Otherwise, when they gave you the money, you waste it. So that's the fourth competency that every business person. The fifth is common. That is calculated risks. We are saying that business people should deliberately calculate. I'm not saying that when you see fire, then you go. But you must do the DY, DX, and see whether whatever you're going to embark on, evaluate alternatives.
When you said DY, DX, I remember my maths teacher. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Asamoah, if you're listening to us.
Mr. Asamoah, thank you for educating this young man.
Hey, DYDX.
Yeah. It's equal to 0. You must follow that. But it's important that we know those dynamics and we move on. So you must take action to reduce risks or control outcomes. place yourself in situation involving a challenge or moderate risk. Let us break the comfort zone. I kept on telling one of my friends, he doesn't want to go beyond certain trend. I said, break it, because she's scared. And if you do that, your business cannot grow. And sometimes you need to force them. But you see, the interesting thing about this is that if the corporate governance is working well, then it's the board that now put those assignments, force the management to break their comfort zone. That's the point we are trying to make. So the fifth one is calculated. The sixth one is that efficiency and quality. For me, I like the sixth one because always I'm looking, and we have said it a while ago, how to do things better, faster, and cheaper. Okay, so you have this Pythagoras theorem, and they say adjacent, opposite, and the hypotenuse. So when I'm driving, I'll look for the hypotenuse, because we have been told that the hypotenuse is always shorter than. So that's the kind of concept that we are talking about. You must be able to do things better, faster, and cheaper. Not the same way, but even if it's going to take you 5 years, 10 years, no. Let's look at the horizon.
As you talk about better, faster, and cheaper, I mean, these are the three things that, for example, let's say if we're looking at procurement, for example, it would come in. And so, for example, I mean, every institution, I mean, every investor, I don't want to spend more money than I should.
Yeah.
But I also am looking for quality. A question I will ask you when we get to the question, maybe I'm saying...
Finishing that, we said, competency is a capacity to apply or use a set of related knowledge, skills, and abilities required to successfully perform critical work function. So that's how we define it. So persistence means that takes action in face of significant obstacle. There is always, if you're driving, motion, we were taught that there is always opposing force, isn't it? So the more you accelerate, the better you. So you persist over time. Persistence also means that takes repeated action or switches to an alternative. I was saying that I give you a plus because he has been doing this for some time. What he's doing, I cannot do it, no matter what. You see, it comes with time. It's a skill that you have developed, and you must be able to develop either leadership skills, skills that will enhance your business as well. But if you go one and you go and sleep, and you say that because it's too much for me, I'm tired. And the reason why we see this kind of people here is that most of us are either opportunistic entrepreneurs or businessmen or necessity. Because I didn't get a job, I didn't do this, that's why I am in. But if you want to create something, value, and solve some problem, then these core competencies must be something that you strive to achieve, persistence. The eighth one is commitment. Commitment to work contract. Make personal sacrifice or expand extraordinary effort to complete the job. Sometimes it's also common when our employees, it's 5 o'clock, I'm gone. That one, he will not wait. And I've seen in some of my companies where the person is just waiting, pack, and polish the face, is waiting, 4:30.
They'll clock out.
Meanwhile, the same person came in late.
Oftentimes when this conversation comes up, in other jurisdictions, they monitor time at work by clocking in.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, people clock in and clock out.
Yeah.
But do you, and I stand to be corrected, and please, if you're listening to us and you have a different opinion, when we get interactive, let's hear from you. Don't you find that in those jurisdictions, the output, because it's measured, can be planned for and becomes, I dare say, a bit more than in our jurisdiction where the timing is not monitored?
Yes, but
I say that because some people will say, if you are saying I should come in at 8:30, then at 5:30 when I stay till 6:30 or 7, then you should give me overtime.
yes.
Have you heard that argument?
No, yeah. But the interesting thing, I'm not interested in outcomes. I'm interested in results.
Right.
The outcome is that come to 8 and 8:30 and close at 5:30. But what have you achieved?
Exactly. Because there are people who come to work and for the first 4 hours,
They are reading newspapers.
they are not being efficient.
They are not doing.
They are not being productive.
Yeah.
And then
nowadays,
they wait and then...
the annoying thing is on the mobile phone, Instagram or something. And I get agitated when I see somebody, front desk person, and yesterday I did some, that the person was not interested in the people around because there was something on the Facebook or Instagram that, and you were supposed to be the front desk. So again, it's important that we do. Outcomes are yes, but what is the results? But the result comes in when you are committed.
That is it.
That today. So I go to work, and I've done that when I work for other people. I want to close and say that, look, today I contributed X, Y into the upliftment of the
What
company.
did I do today?
Exactly. And I do that the next day. Tomorrow, what am I going to add? But if you are running your own business, that is how the thinking. And some of them you call, I'm in my house. I'm the CEO. Doing what? On my phone. Doing what? Nothing.
The way you treasure the business, even in your actions, is how your staff will also treasure it.
Thank you.
Someone said to me that it says, your actions are speaking so loudly, I cannot hear what you are saying. So you are telling me, come to work early, you show up at 10.
Yeah.
You are telling me, make sure that you do this in the quickest possible time. It takes you 2 months to do one thing. When we have done it and brought it to you, approve it.
Then it's on your table.
So your actions are speaking so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying. So the learning point here for our entrepreneurs is that it's not just what you say, but it's also what you do.
Yeah, the commitment aspect.
Exactly.
And the interesting thing that corporate governance does today is that the moment somebody is employed, you give him work contract. Most of us will say, oh, no, they just give you offer letter. This is your salary. No, there must be KPIs. So the work contract that you are coming in the first 1 month, you must contribute A, B, C, D. And again here, if you don't know how to write a work contract, I can come and write it for you.
Yes. We'll put your number out again today because, I mean, that's why we always say that you can't do everything yourself. So shout.
So
put your hand up.
You can outsource it. Because, you see, most people employ people and they come and say there's no work. But if I bring you in and I know that this month we need to do project A, B, C, D, there must be programs in your, no matter how small, there must be programs.
Of course.
For example, I have a small coconut water business, and I do the production. I don't know how to market, and I want to employ somebody. I'll give you a target.
Of course.
I'll give you a target.
X number of
exactly
so and
for
so.
every day, for a week, for a month. If you achieve it, like you said, you go beyond that. Then you have a bonus.
There's a joke about targets. I'll tell that joke, and after that, we get interactive. If you're listening to that, this is Masterclass here on the Superstation Joy 99.7. So, a new salesman, there's a company that was selling a certain product, and the sales were not moving on. So, they employed a new person, and first day he sold three copies. Second day, it was a book. Second day, he sold, 10. Then the sales were going up. So, at some point, his boss's boss came down to the country and said, I want to know how you are selling these products. How are you changing the numbers so quickly? He says, it's a very simple thing. He said, how do you do it? And this is just a joke, but he says, when I go to them and I introduce the book, I start reading it to them. And I bore them with it. The person when they buy the book, I ask them, will you buy it? Should I continue reading it? Not just as they were reading.
Yeah, so the phase then we go to the authority.
Right.
You have only two.
Okay, so let's get interactive so that while we share those points,
then I
we can also
mention
get
it too. Yeah.
our listeners. We want to take a quick message from our sponsors. When we come back, we open the phone line so that you can be a part of this conversation. This is Masterclass here on your Superstation Joy 99.7. Final conversation on corporate governance and entrepreneurship. We'll take a quick message. We'll be right back.
As in progress.
Ekuya has sickle cell disease. Kweku is battling with prostate. Auntie Mary has a family history of cancer. All these people have either inherited a genetic disorder from parents and present in the child at birth, or even due to some environmental factors. Remember that Genetic conditions affect all ages, economic, social, and religious groups. Don't discriminate if they look different. Early detection may help early intervention and treatment. As we start the GA Genome Project, we invite you to join and follow our public lecture series and get free genetic testing and screening. For more updates and information on how to get the free genetic testing and screening, call 0302 959 246 or visit www.gagenome.org.
Welcome back. If you just tuned in, this is Masterclass here on the Superstation Joy 99.7. The phone lines are now open. Numbers to call 0302216541. That's 0302216541. You can also send us your comments on WhatsApp on 05511119997. Goyle has some great news for us if you have any motor vehicle of any kind. Goyle, your oil marketing company of choice, keeps making your life ever so convenient. Goyle now accepts Momo for all fuel purchases at key select stations. Just remember to Momo it to Goyle. And that's not all. You can use your bank card to buy fuel at Goyle, and this is made possible by APSA. Drive to any of our Goyle filling stations now and buy fuel. Pay by Momo or bank card, and you're good to go. Goyle, good energy. Goyle, Yenara, Yedia. Did you know that disorders like sickle cell disease, breast and prostate cancer have a genetic component? Genetic conditions affect all age and economic and social religious groups. The GH Genome Project includes public lecture series on the Ghanaian genome and free genetic health screening of sickle cell diseases, breast and prostate cancers. We invite you to join the GH Genome Project. Follow us and get screened. Early detection may help early intervention and treatment. For more updates, call us on 0302 959 246. That's 0302 959 246, or visit us at www.ghgenome.org. GA Genome, our duty to decode. Phone lines are now open. I have a caller on the line. I've got Kay from Airport. Good afternoon, Kay. You're welcome to Masterclass. Your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, you just said Kay. You mentioned my name.
Right.
I'm calling from Airport.
Right. How is Airport this afternoon, my brother?
A bit of traffic, but, yeah.
Great. Talk to me, my brother.
Yeah, so I just wanted to weigh in two things. So one is the fact that, with the time coming to going to work, leaving, and all the different books, I wonder what your guest thinks about the fact that, for me, I personally have always thought that it's better to have timelines and deliverables as opposed to monitoring how long somebody stays at work, because people can come in before the check-in time and check out after the check-out time and still do nothing or not do it to the quality that you expect. Someone else would use, half that time to do it well. So what does he think about that in terms of not monitoring people according to how many hours you are at work? How often and how do you deliver what the deliverables is? And how does it help? That's one. And the second is on these target things, smart targets. What I think is that most leaders in the industry know about targets, especially when it comes to the fast-moving product and when they have to do it. But then they don't actually have smart targets. So always set targets that are way beyond what is reasonable, what is even measurable sometimes. They don't about smart targets. They talk about that if you like the moment, the impact is up. I think they don't actually have smart targets. They just have targets that align to how much profit they want to make. They don't actually keep resources to let their staff bring in those targets. So those are the two things I wanted to let your
Right. Thank you so much, my brother. We will react to them shortly. Do you want to do that quickly? I've got Richard on the line as well.
Let me. Okay, so let's take Richard.
Let's take Richard and then, So the two things he spoke about are measuring quality of work instead of the time.
Yeah.
And then he also talked about setting smart targets. Richard, good afternoon. You're welcome to Masterclass. Your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Richard. I'm calling from Tema.
Sorry, Richard. If you can speak up a bit for me, I can hardly hear you.
Yes, my name is Richard. I'm calling from Tema.
Good afternoon, Richard. Talk to me, my brother.
Okay, I think your program is a very important program. And then personally, I see myself witnessing most of what you are saying in the field. Now, what most entrepreneurs in Ghana usually do is that for the fact that they have been able to identify or come up with a solution to a problem, and then they set up a business, they feel they know it all. So just when the business is in motion, they recruit a marketing manager. And when things are not going well, they forget that there are business consultants out there to be consulted on. I always tell people that businesses are like human beings. When it gets to a point in time, you need to go for a checkup. But just as a typical Ghanaian does not go to the hospital. They wait till things get worse before they are now going to the emergency ward or something. But I think Ghanaian entrepreneurs should understand that businesses are like human beings, and at a point in time when things get tough, they should consult business consultants who will do a thorough check on their business and fix the issues for them. They are putting their frustration on marketing managers and firing them left, right, center. Meanwhile, it might not be the problem of the marketing manager. The business itself needs a typical restructuring, which must be done by a business consultant. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Richard. I think that his point is very well made. I won't add anything to it. Maybe
let me start from his point. And I think the reason why what he said was valid is simple. I said it here that there are 4 phases of every business: the startup, the survivor, the growth, and the succession. Each of them requires separate skill set. Remember, I talk about the skill. So most good entrepreneurs can do the startup and survivor, and that's why he's asking. At that point, get an expert to help you sail through. There are people who even went up to the 3rd phase, but the succession plan was so bad that we didn't hear about. When we were growing up, we heard a lot of, I don't want to mention names, but where are they now? Because the succession plan was poorly executed. So it is important for what he's saying that, look, you don't know it all. We also don't know it all, but we do research, we do our needs assessment, and then we move on. So Richard, yes, I agree with you 100%. The second one is that, you see, COVID has taught us a lot of lessons. And that's why when I was saying, I said results. Results means that smart targets. Because when the person goes to work 8 and 5, and what has he achieved? But you see, the monitoring aspect becomes necessary when I'm dealing with customers. If it's a teller or something that people come in, we know we are opening the bank, for example, 8, and people will come. Then you cannot say that you need to serve the people to 5:30. So it depends on the nature of the services or the product that you are selling. But you see, when you bring in a consultant in, and this is what I teach this course in MBA, Operations Management, I can calculate how many minutes, hours that you require to do a particular work. And when I do that, what kind of resources I need to match it. So in giving you your KPIs, I know that this work that you are doing should take you 30 minutes. Plus or minus, then you are there. Let me give you a very funny thing. When I was doing my doctorate in London, as a student, I worked with Royal Mail. And one day I went to work, and I met this guy who is also a Ghanaian. So we were talking, we are suffering, it was winter. And apparently when we were talking, we were supposed to scan about one track, 1 hour, 15 minutes. And we did it 1 hour. We were fired.
You did it under time?
No, we did it more than 1 hour, 15 minutes. I think we were doing it over time, 1 hour, 15 minutes. Instead of 1 hour, 15 minutes. We were fired. And that is 3 a.m. winter. I know those of you who have worked in London, it's a red bus that will come. And they come on hourly basis. And the first when we got the red bus moved, so we have to stand in the cold for another hour. Yes, because they want the results. So again, it depends. But see, they have structured everything in such a way that when you go, your work contract has this. And therefore, your deliverables are there. And as long as you work within your deliverables, nobody cares. Sometimes you can go to bed 1 hour, 30 minutes because you know you get it. But at the end of the day, I want the results.
His second point he made, though, was about targets. Why leaders know about targets and yet do not set smart targets?
Yes, because they don't calculate it well. That's why I'm saying that every work must have the number of hours or time that required to do that work. But they look at it and look at the bottom line. No, if you do that, you kill your employee.
And
The
set
second thing,
unrealistic targets.
yeah. And that's, again, we come back to the principles. The principle is that target must be reliable. I can't sit here and say tomorrow I'm going to build 50 houses. No, it's not possible because the construction even takes time. So they are not realistic. So again, when you understand your work and you know what goes into that work, you give realistic target to people. But this is the thing. Yeah. Most entrepreneurs, when they started, they didn't put themselves into the business. Because if you have done it before, you know how long it took you to do that. And when you are telling that startup, you the boss, the CEO, don't go and sit. Get involved in the marketing. Get involved in the analysis of the product. So that when you are giving somebody target, you know that, well, in my time, I used 1 hour. So plus of 1 hour, 10 minutes is supposed to deliver.
Right. Phone lines are still open, 0302216541. You can also send us your comments on 05511119997. That's on WhatsApp, and we'll pick them up and try and answer them. Doc, I've got a few questions here while we wait for... I think you've got some more content.
Yes, I have,
so
I have two more. So let me say that the 10 core competencies, we say goal setting, information seeking, systematic planning and monitoring, opportunity seeking and initiative. We also talk about the fifth one, calculated risks. Then we also talk 6, efficiency and quality. 7 is persistent. 8, commitment. So I talk about the 9. The 9th one is persuasion and networking. This is where the business person use deliberate strategies and methods to influence or persuade others. Like the joke that you were trying to say. Maybe it's a good strategy. So it will force people to, not illegally, but legally. So, and you use key people as agents to accomplish objectives. So when we are doing even focus group discussion, you look at the leaders. You know, like you go to a workplace, the person who is the most vocal has a followers. So you call the person into the room and discuss with, listen to him, because he represents constituency before you come out and say any policy. That helps you to persuade other people.
You get the buy-in of your team.
And we use the same thing in our marketing. Know the people, what they want, what they would like, and then on the basis of that, you come out with services or product that...
I've got a message on social media. This one is from Victoria Okrako. Victoria says, what a wealth of transfer of knowledge. Thank you to the consultant and kudos to Masterclass. Okay, Doc, so that's a thumbs up for you there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Victoria, for reaching out to us.
Then the last one is independence and self-confidence. Self-confidence is one of the things that generally we don't do well. You see big people, good entrepreneurs, when they give them the microphone, they are found wanting. And a friend in US told me that, look, when you are talking to a US, you have to look eyeball to eyeball. By a Ghanaian, you see that the head is down, meaning that you are lying or whatever.
No, but it's still because of our orientation as a people. Like, when we're young, they said, when you are talking to your elders,
you have to,
don't look at them, it's disrespectful.
Yes, so socioeconomics aspect also comes here.
Yeah.
And that is why I said the person is very important. How you grew up, your traits, your temperaments, the culture settings. So you go to a particular place, and I can do that. The moment I look at the office and the setting, I will know which tribe the owner is coming from, the way he does things. This is very, very important because it has certain kind of bearing. But remember, we said that we must learn, relearn, and unlearn. Yes. Yeah. So that principle works here. So that the things that we think will not inure to the benefit of the business, we stop them. But when you say, that is how we do it here, you cannot change. What is it that you cannot change?
You must be willing to change because the world you live in is a changing world.
Yes. So although you seek autonomy, you must form rules or other things that may control others. And that's why I think Richard or somebody mentioned a while ago. Then you stick to certain things, certain principles, certain judgment. You can't say A and do B as a business owner. Even you, if they know that you always come and take the money from the pot, you are giving avenue for other people to also do so. Also,
put their hands there.
Yes. So once you lay out the principles, it is for you to set up the example for others to follow. And that comes in when you are very independent and you have that self-confidence. You express confidence in ability to complete a difficult task in the face of challenge. Because look, when I give you a task, I also research. I do that to my people. So that in the event where you are not able to do, you come and I show you.
In fact, I have friends at work who do the same thing. And they tell me, when I ask you to do something, maybe you can call it that I have an obsessive compulsive disorder. I can call it OCD or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I ask you, for example, to call someone in 5 minutes, you have to call the person. By the time you call the person, you say, I've called him already. It's the example of saying, well, I have to do because I can't do it myself. I'm giving the opportunity to them to do it. Otherwise, find someone else to do it.
And you know the interesting thing, sometimes when you do that, they say, oh, this one is a terror. It's easier said than done. Because I cannot ask you to do something that I knew I've not gone through. And that is the fundamental point I'm making, that every entrepreneur or business person, you must also go through the departments.
I've got Douglas from Dansuman. Douglas says, wow, super insight there. My question now is that most people are working from home. How do you supervise them? How can we be paid by
I've forgotten. I had 4 hours. I think 4 hours. 4 hours more is left. And they told me, even though you got distinction, you have not sat behind the PC for the next 4 hours. So go back and do it.
I've got Joseph from Apenkwa. Joseph says, your guest is actually hitting the nail on my head. On the head or in my head. I love the topic. I started a business. I left it in the hands of someone. He actually failed me. I've started it again and I'm almost in my 3rd month. Now with 40 clients by God's grace and still counting. With 15 clients awaiting to be served. My problem is I have no helper in terms of finances to push my business. So I'm yet to recruit staff, though I'm operating from home. How should I set targets for myself since my business needs more funds, but the interest rates given to me is about 50% for my startup? This is Joseph from Apenkwa. How does he set personal targets?
Tell Joseph that this is simple.
Joseph is listening to us.
He doesn't even need money. You have a product that you are selling.
Right.
And like he put in, typical Ghana, by the grace of God, you have 40 people. Increase the number of people you reach out. There's a way we do this. For example, if I want to do marketing, I have to consider the population.
Yeah.
And within the population, which one will be available? And within the available sample, there must be those who are qualified to buy. When I say qualified, you know, issues like drinks and tobacco, you must be 18 plus. You must also know that. When you know that, then you come back within that subset. How many people will have the money to buy? You see, then that becomes your potential market. So you need to understand what kind of solution your product is giving.
Right.
Get your potential market and increase your sales. You don't need money from anybody.
For people like Joseph who need help with someone else, a third eye, like yourself, a consultant, how do they get in touch with you after the show today?
Yeah, so I'll put down some number. 0248 686
Yes.
536.
Okay, if you can take it again slowly for me.
0248
Yes.
686
Yes.
536.
Okay. So Joseph and any other person who requires some help to be able to get a third perspective on what you're doing, take your business to the hospital, in like the first call I said, and get some help. Dr. Tete Dumanya is here and is able to assist you. Doc, unfortunately, we've run out of time. What's our takeout from the 4 weeks of conversation, very briefly, if you will?
Okay, so we realize that corporate governance is a major thing that we have to take a second look at. People have done it and they have been successful, so we don't need to reinvent the wheel. In fact, the last time I was saying that they have even infused in ESG, environmental, social, and governance. And that is how far people are going. Now, even if you need money and you are not doing impact program, something that impact on the livelihood of something, you are not going to get it. So it is important that we take our corporate governance. I kept on saying that the nature of businesses and the people will be the reflection of the country. And one time I heard somebody, I think it was on the city, that they did a research and they realized that 75% of our media space is not on learning. It's about church. So why can't we get plenty churches in here? I'm not saying church is not good. And then 20% is for comedy and only 5% is for business. Whereas when you go to China, 75% of their airtime is on Masterclass, businesses, how to start up. So the people and the businesses in every country is the reflection of the country. And that's why we need to start from this level. And once we get it done and we enforce our corporate governance, I think we are good to go.
Thank you so much, Doc. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here on the show with all the information that you've shared with us. We do hope that our crew is able to bring you back again pretty soon to share some more information with us. But it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope that we'll continue to interact even beyond today. This is how we bring the curtain down on today's edition of Masterclass in the last couple of weeks. We brought our conversation on corporate governance to a close today. Next week, we start another area of conversation. We'll be looking at customer experience, the strategy, the methodologies, and the culture. And we'll be spending time here in the studio with Esther Dokua Ofosuhene, who's a renowned customer service professional. Don't miss those sets of conversations. Thank you for being with us here today on the show. We'll come here again same time next week. Up next, we continue with the